Florida, the Sunshine State, home to Disney World, Miami Beach, and the most visited tourist destination in America. But here's what nobody ever tells you about Florida. Florida has no state income tax. Florida has no state wealth tax. And Florida has the third largest economy in the entire United States, worth over $1 trillion. So here's the question that nobody ever asks. If Florida collects almost no tax from its people, who pays for everything? The roads, the schools, the hospitals, the police, the fire stations. Where does the money come from? The answer is one of the most fascinating and most hidden financial stories in America. Florida runs on a shadow economy, an underground market so large and so complex that even the IRS admits it cannot fully track it. Today we are going inside that economy, and what you are about to discover will completely change how you see this sunny, glamorous state. The official answer is tourism. Florida receives over 150 million tourists every year, more than any other state in America. Disney World alone generates over $30 billion annually. Universal Studios, SeaWorld, the beaches, the cruise ships. Florida is the entertainment capital of the United States. And Florida taxes tourism heavily. Every hotel room, every restaurant meal, every rental car, every ticket, all of them carry a tourist tax. Florida collects billions this way, without ever asking its permanent residents to pay income tax. This is the official story. This is what the government says. This is what the brochures show. But there is a much larger, much darker, much more interesting economy running underneath it. One that no tourist ever sees. One that no government website ever explains. And one that moves more money than Disney, Universal, and every beach resort in Florida combined. Here is where the story gets extraordinary. Florida has the highest rate of all cash real estate purchases of any major state in America. In Miami alone, over 60% of luxury condominiums are purchased entirely in cash. No mortgage, no bank loan, no financial institution asking where the money came from. Just a wire transfer, and the property changes hands. Let me say that again. 60%. 6 out of every 10 luxury condos in Miami. Bought with cash. No questions asked. So who is buying these properties? Wealthy Venezuelans, Colombians, Brazilians, and Argentinians, fleeing economic instability in their home countries. Russian oligarchs protecting their assets from their own government. Chinese business people diversifying out of the yuan. Middle Eastern investors seeking stability. And, crucially, people whose money cannot easily be explained to a bank. Florida became the #1 destination in the world for real estate money laundering. Not because Florida wanted this, but because its combination of no income tax, warm weather, international airport connections, and historically weak financial oversight made it the perfect place to park unexplained wealth. The U.S. Treasury Department estimated that billions of dollars in suspicious real estate transactions flow through Florida every single year. But real estate is just the beginning. Florida has an enormous underground cash economy that operates in plain sight, in industries that are perfectly legal but deeply opaque. The first industry is construction. The construction industry in Florida runs heavily on cash labor. Workers building luxury hotels and condominiums are paid in cash, off the books, no tax records, no social security numbers, no paper trail of any kind. This is not a secret. Everyone in the Florida construction industry knows it. It saves developers enormous amounts of money, and it happens every single day on job sites all across the state. And then there is the restaurant and hospitality industry, Florida's largest employer. The tips, the side payments, the unreported income. The IRS estimates that the hospitality industry underreports its income by billions of dollars every year. And Florida, as the biggest hospitality state in America, is at the very center of this. And then there are the yachts. Florida has more registered pleasure boats than any other state in America. Miami is the super yacht capital of the United States. These vessels, worth tens of millions of dollars each, are bought, sold, maintained, and chartered in transactions that are notoriously difficult to trace. The yacht economy alone represents billions of dollars moving through Florida with minimal government oversight. 3 industries: construction, hospitality, yachts. All legal, all enormous, all running largely on cash, all largely invisible to the government. The IRS, the United States Tax Collection Agency, has publicly stated that Florida is one of the most challenging states to audit in the entire country. The combination of high cash transactions, a large tourist economy, significant real estate activity, international money flows, and a culture of financial privacy makes Florida uniquely difficult to police. Experts estimate that the Florida underground economy, the portion of economic activity that goes unreported to the government, is worth hundreds of billions of dollars annually. Some estimates put it as high as 20% of the state's entire economy. Think about what that means. 20%. That means roughly $200 billion in economic activity happening every year in Florida that the government cannot see, cannot tax, and cannot fully measure. And here's the truly remarkable part. This is not entirely illegal. Much of it is simply informal. It is a massive, sprawling gray economy, not quite legal, not quite illegal, operating in the gaps of a system that was never designed to fully capture it. $200 billion every year, hidden in plain sight. Now let us ask the uncomfortable question. Who benefits from this system, and who pays the price? The wealthy real estate investor who buys a Miami condo in cash benefits enormously. Their money is safe, untraceable, growing in value. The developer who builds that condo using cash labor benefits. Lower costs, higher profits. The foreign billionaire who parks money in a Florida beachfront property benefits. Their wealth is protected, laundered through legitimate real estate, growing quietly in the Florida sunshine. But the ordinary Florida resident, the teacher, the nurse, the grocery store worker who was born in Florida and wants to build a life there, they do not benefit. In fact, they suffer, because this hidden cash economy means that the tax base is narrower than it should be. The services that ordinary people depend on, public schools, public hospitals, public infrastructure, are underfunded. The person who cannot pay cash, who has to work on the books, who pays their taxes honestly, who does not have access to the underground system. They carry a disproportionate share of the cost of running the state. The rich operate in the shadows. The ordinary person operates in the light, and the ordinary person pays. Now you might be watching this from Bangladesh, from India, from Nigeria, from anywhere in the world, and thinking, why does Florida's cash economy matter to me? Here is why. The money flowing through Florida's underground economy does not come from nowhere. It comes from somewhere. It comes from developing countries. When a Venezuelan politician buys a Miami condo in cash, that money left Venezuela. It left the Venezuelan economy. It is not just an American story. It is a global story, your story. And for people in developing countries, understanding where your country's stolen wealth goes is the first step to demanding it back. Florida. 150 million tourists every year, luxury yachts and beachfront mansions, no income tax, and $1 trillion economy. But underneath the sunshine, underneath the glamour, underneath the beach umbrellas and the theme parks, a shadow economy worth hundreds of billions of dollars, cash that cannot be traced, wealth that cannot be taxed, money that flows in from the entire world and quietly disappears into one of the most sophisticated, informal financial systems ever built on American soil. This is the real Florida economy, and it has been hiding in plain sight for decades. If this video showed you something about America's financial system that nobody else was willing to explain, subscribe to this channel right now. Every week from Bangladesh, we bring you the hidden stories of money and power that the world's most powerful people would prefer you never understood. Next week, we go to Detroit, the richest city in America that went completely bankrupt. How did the most powerful industrial city on Earth lose everything? That story is next.